Is the Iran war pushing us towards World War III? I'm Borzu Deragahi. I am the founder of the Substack newsletter Badlands. Please subscribe at borzu.substack.com. I had an interview with India's NewsX in which we talked about some of the broader issues involving the war in Iran, including how Ukraine and Russia are getting involved.
As we've just heard from Trump, he said that NATO has done absolutely nothing. And then also said that Iran would have used a nuclear weapon on Israel. Now, we know that Iran didn't have enough enriched uranium on this, but Trump is still making these remarks. What do you think on that? And also, again, to you, how do you think Iran's going to take this?
I think that Iran actually did have enough enriched uranium to make a nuclear weapon if it made the political decision and the very complex technical preparations of miniaturization and fine-tuning the implosion device that it did not have, according to the CIA and the Director of National Intelligence in the U.S. So I think they did have it. It was blown up and probably buried underneath a mountain in June of last year. That attack created a kind of chain reaction situation where all of a sudden this enriched uranium was there, but because the inspectors were no longer there, the U.S. and the international community no longer had eyes on it. That created this sort of inevitable situation. And this was kind of a sort of gaslighting on the part of certain interests in Washington and certain foreign countries as it emerged in recent days in an attempt to kind of push the United States into taking part in this conflict that Israel's Benjamin Netanyahu has been wanting for something like 30 years. As for what the Iranians are thinking right now, I don't think the Iranians are listening to anything Trump is saying. I don't think any serious geopolitical strategist is thinking about what Trump is saying. I think everyone is looking at the thousands of U.S. elite troops and parachutists that are gathering around the Persian Gulf and waiting for the markets to close on Friday and possibly, weather permitting, launching some kind of operation to break what is considered a sort of stalemate, a kind of war of attrition, and create some new realities on the ground to get into a better negotiating position. Iran is not interested, actually, in negotiating right now. They want to make the punishment for the region and the world so harsh that the United States and Israel don't think about another attack again. And that is why they were, in addition to the fact that the Saudi Arabia and United Arab Emirates and Qatar were basing U.S. military hardware that was used against Iran, that was also one of the reasons why Iran attacked those countries, to just mess with the whole global economy. For 30-odd years, Iran has been kind of under sanctions, and so they don't really have a connection to that global economy, so they can afford to destroy that global economy as a way of exacting pain on the rest of the world for allowing this conflict.
Yemen's Houthis movement is saying they are ready to join the war in support of Iran. Now, this would literally escalate the war further as more and more countries are getting involved. And the dangers of more energy crisis and more oil shipments being blocked. Do you think the Houthis and Iran have been in direct talks about this? And second of all, how do you think the United States and Israel have probably reacted to this as well?
Well, I mean, as to your second question, I don't think that they have planned it out. I think that the United States and Israel were counting on a quick 3-day war that would be over, and then the people would rise up, and then they would take over, and then, either Iran would plunge into civil war or there would be regime change. So they're playing it by ear. They're kind of they're improvising as they go along. But Ellie, to your broader point, and you mentioned earlier about Saudi Arabia and Ukraine collaborating. Russia is providing signals intelligence and possibly weaponry to Iran. This is really important, and it's really important for people in India who are watching and listening in to kind of understand this. We're moving towards something like World War III, where you have all these countries involved, all these camps involved: China, Russia, Iran, the Houthis, maybe the militias in Iraq. On the one hand, Israel, the United States, the Gulf states, maybe the European countries later moving in. On the other hand, in a widespread, more geographically dispersed conflict, Ukraine and Russia being part of that conflict, just as the United States is backing Ukraine against Russia, Russia is going to start very heavily backing Iran against the U.S., and China might join in that as well. And that is going to be really disastrous. And that could turn into with ground troops moving in from the United States, that could turn into a escalating, out of control, multi-year war. That is what I'm most afraid of. Not people running from as the previous guest was saying, people running across the Mexican border into the United States or whatever. What's really concerning is how this war will impact energy prices, consumer prices. We have a very delicate supply chains around the world. And consumer prices are going to go up. People are going to have to buckle up and do something. Or diplomats, including from India, should try to intervene and stop this from escalating.
Thank you so much, Bozu, for joining us here on NewsX World. It was a pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you for listening. This is Borzou Dergahi of Badlands at Borzou, BORZOU.substack.com.